everybody, and welcome to another episode of Furry 5 Minutes, where we are short a demon this week. We could not arouse him from his slumber. Or, well, I did arouse him from his slumber, but he sent me a rather very cryptic message that said, Dory Tip Sapi. So, we are still trying to translate that as we speak, but Shay is back with us this week because he wanted to join in and share his stuffs with us and present Eggplant Wickerbeast's tale.
As always.
Yeah.
It's part of my trademark now.
Present tale.
I only just now noticed the eggplant when he looked this way, and I just see in the mirror that specific color on that specific part of tail.
Which is why it is referred to as eggplant. So yes, who wishes to begin this week? I can't actually remember who started last time.
Does that really even matter who started last time?
Not really. It's just I'm just kind of curious on if somebody went first last time, if they don't want to go first this time. So, well, in that case, I was about to say if nobody's taking the option, I'll go first. So,
5, 4,
I'll do it.
3,
I got it. I can reach.
Begin.
Okay, so the topic I wanted to talk about this week was actually something that we brought up during streams, like during the week, which was the idea of when you're creating a VR game, do you make it with, just sort of VR only in mind, or do you try and include like PC and VR, or do you like add a VR mode later to a title that was like originally PC only? Because
it was something I brought up to him.
Yeah, and it was something that sort of sparked a little bit of a debate because you were talking more about games that add it later on, where I was talking more about, well, when you're making a game from the beginning, like you've got nothing to work with, who do you develop for? Do you develop for PC and VR, or do you make it a VR-only experience? Because I feel like that presents a whole lot of problems. Because when you're doing PC and VR, you effectively have to design two sets of controls and also, worry about the balance between people being able to do certain things on PC mode versus doing them in VR mode. Like, for example, a person in VR might be able to just stand there with a gun, point it round the corner without revealing themselves and shoot, like you can in Pavlov, for example. But in PC, you might have quicker access to abilities because you can press keys faster. It's the whole muscle memory thing. And then, of course,
So when it comes to balance designs, you more or less worry about that when you're talking about competitive. Competitive is when you got to really make a lot of changes. When it's co-op focused, like Payday and whatnot, don't have to worry too much. You still need to do some balance, as in, like, you got to make the VRs powerful enough in certain areas that may be lacking or difficult to do. Like, for example, in Payday 2, stealth is so much more tiresome when you have to physically crouch.
I bet it is. That's also the other thing that you've got to think about is just the whole idea. What the hell is going on with your leg? Your leg looks
like you've never seen bad tracking before.
It's just like your leg was possessed. It was just like, I'm coming for you.
Okay. Now you were saying.
I can't remember now. What was I saying?
Who's to blame? This guy.
Legs. Yes, legs. we have two of them. They are attached to the lower part of our body, and we use them for standing, walking, and kicking people in the shins.
Need I remind you that a large percentage of first-person characters tend to lack legs, like Gordon Freeman.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, except unless you're playing like one of the Left 4 Deads. I can't remember which one it was where you can actually physically look down and see legs. But yeah, sea legs.
Except in number 2, apparently.
Where was I? I was talking something about VR related stuff. Frozen, what was I talking about again?
Don't
I
look
was
at me.
talk-
I'm not helping you out.
I was talking about balancing for competitive and whatnot, and
I was going to
versus co-op.
I was going to say something that was related to that, but I completely fucking lost it now. Oh, come on,
I mean,
think.
on that topic in general, when it comes to balancing like that, you just have to focus on main game first and worry about competitive later, because in most cases, when you look at any game, not even like talking about VR or anything like that, like any game, competitive and normal are two entirely different games.
And that was what I was just about to talk. I just remember what it was I was about to talk about. It's the idea that when people actually make games for VR, they tend to design them more like their PC or you're using a mouse and keyboard. Like, remember when we were playing Orbis VR? I really honestly felt like that game was relying too much on like old MMO keyboard and mouse style combat systems, rather than trying to invent something
30
new.
seconds.
Like, the combat in that was just so
Despite the
stale.
fact that game was literally made for VR. There's no PC support, which baffles us.
Yeah, exactly. It just came off as just the combat system was just so boring. It was like they took a traditional MMO thing,
10 seconds.
put it into VR, and was just like, yeah, we'll just add some VR controls. It doesn't work. You need to have actual VR control-based systems and mechanics that actually work for that. Which is why I'm trying to work something out myself. Like, how would you implement something like that into an actual VR experience and make the fights more, I don't know, VR interactive? Yes.
I was actually thinking about that when. I'll get to that. I was actually thinking about that. One issue I had, one issue I had when it came to the fighting part was how the combos were done. Like, for example, there was right, up, right, up. And there were no downs, or there were no things that seemed to work with it. For example, I would probably do, if it was like a hammer, I'd do. Hang on. Actually, no. If it was a pole axe, I'd go right. But as for how you do the right, you go. Well, as for certain combos, there should be a thrust one too, like a center. So probably right, down, and center. So it would be right, down, center.
Yeah, something
I
that
think
feels.
they needed to do more combos like that.
I honestly just think that it just needs to be that you just perform slashes in general just to perform a combo, and then do what they were trying to do with the whole thing, where you like hold the sword back for it to charge up and then do it, depending on where you hold it to do an attack. Or at least that's the way I think of how to do it.
And
we've kind of gone over the
since you said
5
you
minutes
wanted
with
to
this.
I know, but I'm loving this. And when you said that you wanted to design a game, I can imagine that when it came to how the mechanic work, I think it should be direction, and there being two types of hitboxes. The character, the area that represents where your weapon is away, and the main conductor is a hitbox on the weapon, not the arm. So this means certain weapons. So when I did the right, it's now back here, so it's already hit that box, and I do this naturally, and that will trigger it. And it doesn't need to judge based on speed, it's where it is. And when it comes to tutorials, you can use a video showing an example of a technique you can use. You can do your own, but this is what you would recommend, something like this. Or if you want to go, you can do that, but you could recommend that.
Yeah.
You know.
Stuff like that.
Okay, I'm done.
Sorry for the slight tangent there, that we just sort of got into that conversation and it just sort of kept going.
And I was to blame for that. Also, forgive me for my tracking. I am starting to think that, again, it's the shiny parts of these stools that are throwing off the tracking whenever I get close to them.
Shiny stuff. And
who's next?
That's what I say, somebody who's also very, very shiny as well. But yes, who next?
Speaking of shiny, you should go.
Okay.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Begin.
Okay. I'd like to talk about the lack of certain quality of life improvements for certain apps and certain things where just seems to become more and more of a luxury to certain things, and then you ask, how come this one hasn't done it? For example, Discord. As much as I freaking hated Skype, at least then you could nickname people. You can even do this on Steam. And it works in the search engine. Now, on Discord, still to this day, the only way you can, in form of nicknaming, is either when they're in a server, but that doesn't help on the search rhythms and outside of it. But personally, you can only do it by adding a note in their profile. So, for example, I know this guy has this name from Second Life. I have to go into their profile on Discord and put it there, but I'll only see it when I open it. So I only can use it as a, okay, who's this again? But when I'm trying to search for that person, what was their Discord name again? I'm stuffed. I have no reference. No personal reference. And God forbid they change their name.
It's not a fix, but like the only way you'd have to do it, and it would be a jarring way to do it, is make a personal contacts Discord where you fucking add everybody on your friends list and then rename them yourself. But again, that's not a solution at all.
That's a workaround,
No,
but
it's not.
yeah, I can understand that. It's just one of those things that is just, you don't really know that you need it until it's not there. One thing that I really wish that they would do, when it comes to searching for things, is be able to search for things by date, not by person, because there were numerous times where I was looking for stuff, but I was like, oh, I can't remember when it was I said this. I think it was around sort of this time. So being able to sort stuff
Speaking of
between
when-
dates is a good idea.
Speaking of when, that was going to be my next part. I just heard myself through your... Okay, speaking of when, you can't decide what time method it uses when it comes to the messages. Mine is set to the 24-hour, but I don't use 24-hour. I use 12-hour, AM, PM. So when it comes to messages, I don't even bother to look at the time anymore because I'm not good at determining. Wait, what's that in translation to AM and PM? Because I just can't do that. So I can't even change that. And I've heard that it can be changed, but it's depending on the language you pick. For example, American versus UK or Canada. You gotta install or set it to that particular language in order to get the bloody time frame you prefer, the time format.
Stop sticking your tongue
I'm
out
joining
at
in.
me, you get.
Stop sticking your tongue out at me, you get.
Do any of you have certain little tiny things that are in a game, app, or something that's lacking a basic feature that is either overlooked or they're just not bothering to do it?
Either of you
PvP
two?
in Warframe?
None comes to
I'm joking.
mind. I'm sure one would come up after the podcast, but right now I can't think of any coming to mind. I'm sure there is something. I know that isn't helpful, but
Yeah, no, same.
I was going to say there is one that
Oh, then how about this?
there was one I can think of.
Okay.
In regards to TikTok, why can I not do duets why can't I do duets with a pre-uploaded video to my phone? Because at the moment what I have to do is that I have to download that person's video, put it into a video editor because I do stuff through VRCHAT. I then have to edit the video, then re-upload it, then sync the sound up, otherwise it keeps claiming that I'm the original owner of the sound when I'm not, because I've made that mistake before. And
Oh boy.
yeah, it's just fiddly. For people like us TikTokers, there are plenty of people on there that do TikTok VR related
30
stuff.
seconds.
So,
Hold on. Well, I have 30 seconds. I'd like to add, since we're on the year where corporate greed is on the rise, don't let games like VRCHAT take such little tiny things such as having an icon and monetize it.
10 seconds.
yeah, that's a little weird, I will admit.
5, 4, 3,
Were you gonna say something?
Monetizing on things that were already in game.
Okay, enough.
no, I was just gonna
And
say
also-
TikTok is weird regarding audio and stuff. Blah.
Yeah.
Also, if you're in the VRCHAT official Discord, don't let them see you playing Chill Out VR.
Yes, I've heard.
After that,
I've heard that rumor as well.
what do they do?
They kick you.
Again, it's just a rumor. I don't know if it's been
They kick
confirmed,
you from the
but
server.
They kick.
If they see you playing Chill Out
that is
VR.
just the rumor that I've heard. I can't confirm or deny it, to be perfectly honest. So
They kick you from the Discord server, or do they like
just from the
boot
Discord,
you from?
just from the Discord
Oh, okay,
server.
that's fine then.
But again,
That
that
It
is
seems like
that is
your
just a
status is eyeing
rumor.
Chill Out VR.
So if there are any
I wanna
official,
test- I want to test that rumor because I'm currently in their server at the moment, and I've done that a couple of times. So bring
And
it
if no
on, motherfucker.
And if no one bites, maybe even go as far as to say in general, I'm in Chill Out VR. Anyone want to join me?
Yeah, I might just rub salt into the wound.
okay then.
Here's why I'm definitely seeing this as being a threat, even though, just real quickly, that it's still in its infancy and there are a lot of things that need to be fixed. They're already on a good path because one, free as well, just like VRChat, but they're also breaking certain monopoly things about it, that, or at least getting above it. They're allowing mature content and filters to filter out which parts. They even have a filter that you can check on block gore content. So those meme avatars with whatnot, or flashing content, or loud noise volume thresholds. But that one's not in yet, but they're going to implement that. So there's going to be a thing that says loud volume tolerance, and if it's there, it's either going to be forced down, or if you pick the option, muted entirely.
Yeah, that's all good stuff.
A lot of little things added in to make it more convenient. It's back at the topic I was just talking about.
At least these small
So
little
I don't
things actually
see-
make up for the lack of a person.
I don't see why there should be a filter for excessively small avatars, though.
I think that was a bit weird as well. Excessively big, yes, but not for excessively small, unless there's like a problem with that.
'Cause
Probably,
if that's the case, we won't be able to see you in there then.
I think they're talking excessive as in like this big, like say ant or spider maybe.
Ah, yeah, that's probably a reason because yeah, I think I understand that now.
Or yeah, and people using little bug avatars that like puppet ones, like a bee, and just going zzz. Because I've come across a lot of people that have a real phobia of that and begged me to stop. When I realized that they were being serious, I stopped.
What about like a little Avoli avatar that's like up to here on a table or something? That shouldn't be banned.
From what I've seen so
surely.
far with the settings, I'm sure that there will be a thing that will allow you to like, this one's blocked here because of this, and then you can, and just like when it came to hide or whatnot, you can just choose, I'll make this one the exception, and pop up.
Yep.
Doesn't mean you can't talk to them.
Anyway,
Or like a threshold kind of thing.
yeah,
So which one of you two is next?
yes, because it's Doggo has taken the initiative, so it is Doggo's turn.
4, 3, 2, 1.
I guess I'll
Begin.
I guess I'll move here.
Go on, buddy.
So we've been binging Doctor Who for the past couple of months, haven't we, Shay?
I don't know what you're talking about whatsoever at all. Completely no idea.
I need to attend more of those.
I was actually thinking about buying you series 1 to 4, like the Australian region discs or something. Like, I was thinking about like shipping them to you because I still know your address.
Oh my fucking god, yes! And
He
yes,
knows
I
where
totally
you
forgot
live. Mwah.
He actually does. That actually scares me.
Don't worry, there's no need to worry. He also knows where I live as well. Yeah.
So on
Yeah,
the
you
topic
just
of
need to-
Doctor
you just-
Who, what was it you
You just need to
talk
hide your snacks. That's it.
Binge watching Doctor Who, I think, is what he was talking about.
Yeah. I was just throwing it out there, and I just wanted to elaborate from there.
Well, go ahead. We want to talk about some of the the casts for the Doctor itself, or the costumes, the writing, the humor, the dark moments that flesh it out even better.
If there's one thing that I've found out because of my lovely friend Frozen here is that I used to watch Doctor Who on Netflix, and a lot of the time the Christmas episodes or something along those lines, like little tidbits, were actually like mixed in the seasons, and I didn't know they were like their own little separate thing that were supposed to be like away from it, which was a neat little thing. Odd but neat.
Yeah, I find that I was watching a bit of the behind the scenes stuff or like deleted scenes stuff, and will you behave?
Continue, just ignore me.
That without Murray Gold's amazing soundtracks for it, that some of the scenes just seem so empty and lifeless. Like the music in this bloody program just completely changes the atmosphere and mood. Yes.
Speaking of atmosphere, I recently just saw a clip from Disney's Prince of Persia, I think it was. And I like how someone commented about the fact that this part where the plague, basically the spirit of death or something comes down and swipes throughout Egypt. And he pointed out that he likes how that there was no music. It was just complete subtle ambience of the wind. And he said they could have added some slight creeping drums or anything, but they chose to keep it quiet. That as the...
See, that's good.
Yes, because as he said, as the spirit of death, as not a humanoid figure, it is simply a wind that passes through and gracefully takes out most of the firstborn and leaves. It isn't harsh, it is quick, it is swift, and it is graceful. Ah, there goes the tracking.
It also just makes it more unsettling from how you're describing it.
Have you seen Prince of Persia?
I mean,
Prince of Egypt!
I was about to say, Prince of Persia?
I know!
When did Disney...
I know, I'm sorry!
And it wasn't Disney, it was Warner Brothers, or Sony. It was one of those two, because it certainly wasn't Disney.
Really?
No, that was not Disney. They did not do Prince of Egypt. That was
The musical? The musical?
no, that was
Right.
that was not Disney. That I'm pretty sure that was Warner Brothers
Oh, come
or
on, it's been
DreamWorks.
forever
No, it
since
was
I've
DreamWorks.
seen
It
it,
was
so
DreamWorks. DreamWorks were the ones who did that
okay.
one.
Hang on.
But give me a break. It's been
Hang on.
forever since I've seen it. Oh, go ahead.
Hang on. It wasn't made by Disney or owned by Disney yet. You know how they'd be monopolized.
Yeah,
stuff.
that's
It's not
true. That's
owned
true.
yet.
They don't own it yet. We're all gonna fucking die.
But if you're watching this video in the future, maybe right now they own it.
So anything else you want to add about Doctor Who or atmosphere music? Because I admittedly stole a lot of that from your time. You got 10 seconds.
That's fine. I'll just overrun by like 30 seconds or whatever.
3, 2, 1.
Music that sets the atmosphere and that. Yeah,
And-
Murray Gold's music tends to make me cry at the right moments and that. Like, we were struggling on like the season 4 finale, and the music just usually brings the mood.
Just pain. Audible physical pain.
Especially with like Wilf crying and saluting the
Yep.
Doctor and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then there's stuff like Skyrim and Oblivion's music. Yeah, their music is quite beautiful as well.
It's just too bad that if your music is too epic and too mainstream, it's gonna be ruined by memes.
Yeah,
For example?
there's one Oblivion track that is always used for like Oblivion memes now.
You know, real quick on the
That's
Second
not
Life thing, I
Oblivion. That's
literally,
Skyrim.
But not Oblivion. I meant Elder Scrolls. Speaking of Elder Scrolls, though, but this one's more Skyrim. Back to the quick to the topic of SL. When I was in that East Forest RP sim, I heard a little flute in the background that was going in a familiar tune, and it was slow. It literally was someone's avatar with some sort of flute thing that had a bunch of tracks in it, and it was literally an original recording of a little flute theme, and it was playing. At first, I couldn't identify it, and then the second one, it started playing. Wait, that's the Skyrim theme, but it's slow paced.
If it was the Skyrim theme but slower pace, that would be like the Elder Scrolls main theme, because they used it in Oblivion as well. Because the Skyrim one's just a remix of it.
Speaking of remixes, I learned something really clever and funny. If you ever have a child in the back of your car and is sleepy, needs to be asleep, and you want to listen to music, I don't know where he got this from, but it was a huge track of remixed lullabies that were slowly following the rhythms of familiar tracks. Like, there was literally one that was like a xylophone, very soothing, but it was slowly following the notes of the original Doom track.
Okay,
and there was
that's
one
interesting.
doing the and there was one that was doing the We Are Number One, and there was one that was doing the Evangelion one, or Evangelion.
I've learned something with regards to. I've learned something very funny about particular types of music. There is one word, one universal word that if you say it, everybody knows which song you're talking about. And I guarantee you will get the song immediately in your head. And the magic word is somebody.
Once.
I knew you were
Somebody. Once.
No. Stop that.
It's Eggplant's turn. It's the Eggplant's turn.
Yes, it's his turn to talk now. Why is he going? Where are you going?
Recommend...
Don't mind me.
I recommend, though, actually looking it up. If you ever, just lullaby little xylophone remixes of all your favorite tracks that you can smile and listen to, knowing that it's the track, and also that although your little kid doesn't know it, it's putting him or her to sleep.
Your turn to talk is over. It's Shay's turn now. Oh, goodbye.
A talking stick.
Yes, I'll stay here. Fuck it. Alright, so, listen. Eggplant here is a giant nerd. But I am also what one would call a goblin. A goblin for specific things. They're called dice. I love them. I love dice.
Question.
Yes.
Are you a crotch goblin?
No comment. Anywho,
I still... What?
To exemplify the fact of how much of a goblin I am, Noob, I'm gonna send you a picture later on to put over here, but this, just to exemplify the fact that I can have more, and I want to have more, and I'll show the two of you, I'll show you all later. Precious! But the main reason that I wanted to bring up
What is going on with your
because...
tracking?
I'm sorry, I found that every time I rotate in this direction, my hip tracker gets lost. I was doing that on purpose. Continue. I'll stay rotated in this direction.
As I was saying, before I got interrupted by cuteness, one of the main reasons why I wanted to bring up dice was because there's a lot of them, and I love all of them. However, Noob, what's your favorite type of dice?
D4.
Why D4?
Because it's pointy. I actually
like,
really
like stepping on Legos.
I really don't know. I just like the fact that all the other dice are like sort of like squares or have many faces. The D4 is just simple. It's
I
just
guess you can say he just hasn't elaborated on that D4.
Haha. Matthew, you might not know all of their shapes and sizes in like this right now, but what's your favorite type of dice?
What was that fat one that that had all of the? What was the? Was it a 20?
Either 20 or 12.
What is normally the biggest one? Is it indeed a 20?
20.
It was a big round. It was a big round ball, and it just had all of it everywhere. It looked like something that's trying to be a circle, but at the same time, it had those fine edges. But it's not too
That's
overly
D20.
sharp. It's like, okay, then I guess I'd go with a D20.
Classic choice.
frozen.
I'm a weirdo when I say D8.
You know me, I'm not into D&D, so I would know.
It's basically the amount of sides there's on the dice.
Which, because of the sides they have, form their shape.
Hey, I've only played with a 6-sided dice. Leave me alone.
For example, I
So
believe.
it would be a D6 then.
So, for example, I think if was it a D5? It's more shaped like a diamond or a spike.
That's a D8.
That's a D8. There are no D5s. Well, if there was
Okay, I
a D,
remember
well, if there
now,
was
so
a,
yeah.
if there was a D5, it would literally just be take a D10 and just half the value.
But thankfully, there are 4 Ds right now.
Haha! But there's also the fact that you have some dice which can be rolled like a smaller version of itself, like a D3, where you just roll D6, but 1, 2 is 1, 3, 4 is 2, and so on.
Yeah, that's how I've always remembered that one. But then the interesting fact is there are also D2s as well, also known as you flip
That's
a
a coin.
coin.
Yeah. Yes.
What about a D? What about a D1? Sorry.
I mean, there's also the stupidity of a
No!
100.
No!
Actually, you have a turn. You have a turn. He deserves it.
But I wanna finish this dumb tangent on as these guys are continuing whatever this is. Is that the reason I bring up dice is because they're fun, they're lovely, because you never know what's gonna happen. Like, for example, you can roll and accidentally kill one of your friends, or kill them on purpose because you're the DM.
Yes,
Oh boy.
because
Maybe.
opportunity attacks exist. But it was his choice. He knew what he was doing and he chose.
All I will end it with is
Okay, enough.
he did the calculations, but my god, is he bad at math?
As opposed to, hey, the DM doesn't know how to balance encounters and put you up against a goblin boss and 7 goblins on first session.
Are we referring to something? Probably
Yes,
not. You won't
probably.
Nerds!
Furries! Oh wait.
We
Bottom!
underpants. Wait, what are we talking about again?
Brownie!
Not anymore. I've given up the mantle of
Same
brony.
here. Doesn't
Yeah,
stop people from calling us that.
I have not really been that into the MLP stuff in long.
What?
Anyway, on that note, yes, that is the that's it. Everybody's been and
Holy fuck, was that delicious?
yes, that is the end of Furry 5 minutes for this week. While those two lewd it up over there. Yes, we will be back in a couple of weeks' time. Hopefully I should have my next D&D video finished before the next Furry 5 minutes comes out, but at the rate I'm going, I seriously doubt that it will be, but I can but try. I can but try.
It takes time. It's the work process of an artist.
Yes, but I really do feel like I could be making these faster. Or I could be working on it more and doing more to it. It's just... I just feel like I could be doing more, that's all.
You're doing a good job. And that's all that matters.
I don't feel like I'm doing enough, though.
You're doing a good job. You're valid. You're amazing. You're doing your best. Now stop doubting
Frozen,
yourself.
leave the
Also,
camp. Yes.
here's my best of making noob orgasm. Hey, Rennie and Blazy. There we go.
Oh, yes. But on that note, thank you everybody for watching, and I will see you on the next 5 minutes. Until then, goodbye, anybody and everybody. Oh, let's just end this podcast already. Ah!